And Oster makes fucking refrigerators, fucking whatever you want.
I got toasters. I got sweet blenders there.
Oster, is it?
Oh yeah, the microwave at our school is Oster.
Right.
Yeah, but the gammas are nice. I was using Ian's combined.
The Ergos?
Yeah, he didn't have the Stylecraft. He had the different kind of Ergos, and then I got the Stylecraft ones. I heard it's basically the same clipper.
You're done now?
Yep, we're all done.
All done.
Ready for your interview, John.
Yeah.
Alright, so now that I have my baseline out of the way, I'm just gonna come in with my 1.5 here, closed, because I know that he's been coming for a while. I know that he gets pretty tight fade. When we're doing a higher fade like this, tighter, the highest I'll go with maybe a 2, but I really try and do it a 1.5, just because it's gonna be easier on me. Plus, they want to
bring mine up too.
1.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because it's going to be easier on me, it's going to be easier to blend in. He's still going to have that high fade. Same thing going up and out. I like combing when I'm cutting my hair, just to kind of force those hairs down. So sometimes when you come up, have you noticed like some of these hairs will go with it, right? I don't want that. I want to cut those hairs too.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed me that, because I have that issue all the time. That's
Right? I'm not too worried about what the clipper's leaving left behind here, because all that's going to get going away anyway. I'm really just worried about up here. So, to me, that was my bulk remover, right? I would have done it with my 1.5 detachable. I don't have those today. So now that I've put my baseline in, and now that I've got my bulk removed, come on, clipper open. And I like to come about halfway up. I want to give myself, I like stretching fades out, because it's going to be easier to blend, and I'm giving myself enough room to where I know that I can at least get a 3/0 and a half in there. So I'm almost about an inch, right? About an inch right through there.
So you're just kind of going up to that line right there, really? That you're like...
Yeah, I'm just making one. I go up about an inch with it with my one.
Okay.
That's just no guard open. That's when I come around right there. Not kind of like this. To me, I can get a way more consistent line.
Yeah. Well, it seems like more work the way I do it.
A little bit, yeah.
Just sitting there balancing it out loud.
A little bit. Now I'm going to close it up. So I know this is a 5/0. I know this is my 1. Now I'm going to do my 3/0 here. Coming up almost halfway. A third of the way, right? Nah, it looks like about halfway.
You said this is like 3/0?
This is my 3/0, yep. See, you can still see the faintest line right through there. Where my 3/0 and my 5/0 was. That happens, you can either come up with your 5/0 again in that area. A lot of times I like to flip it and just come up like this.
Okay.
Just to take that line out.
Just to take that line out. Right? I don't know why it works, but it works. Still cutting it. I'll just use my corner. And I'm more focused on blending that out than getting this taken care of right away. I'll just do one step at a time. I'm trying to get this blended. So I was trying to blend in my 3/0 to my 5/0. That was my focal point on that area. Now I'm going to try and blend my 3/0 into my 1. Halfway. Just going right at that line. Coming up there.
You're just kind of like flicking your wrist at the line, really. Just like,
I don't even show my wrist. I'm just moving my fingers.
gotcha.
Right. I'm more flicking my wrist when I'm doing this part, but this is a bit more detailed part, and I don't want all my hand to move. I'm just trying to move my clipper just a little bit.
Gotcha.
I'm using my corners. One notch tighter. And that's just because it wasn't taking enough off. I want to take a little tighter with it. Back down to my 3/0. Back to halfway. Down one notch. To me, this area is a lot of trial and error. I don't want to go too short. So that's why I flick it back and forth on the adjustment bar here. If I'm gonna go over an area, I'm gonna go over long first. If it doesn't take enough off, I'm gonna knock it down 1. If it doesn't take enough off, I'm gonna knock it down again. And it's also going to make a difference whether you're using the teeth of your blade or you're setting your blade flat too. Up through here, I usually lay it flat, but when I'm fading, I like to use my teeth just a little bit more. Sometimes I can give you a little bit longer length. When you're flat, it's usually a bit shorter length. So if I'm not getting the results I want when I'm going with my teeth, I may need to go the exact same length, but use flat, and then I actually cut what I want. So I'll start off with my teeth. If it's not doing what I want, I'll go flat. Alright, to me, I'm kind of satisfied with that. I know this is a 1.5 right through here, so even a 1 open will still take a little bit of hair away. It's not going to take very much, just because we did a 1.5 closed. We're still going to start with that 1 open. You can kind of hear it cutting just a little bit of hair.
Trying to like take that line out, really, or
Oh, we will eventually, yeah. But we're
okay.
So I told these guys before you hear this is, I've been told this is called the skip guard method. So instead of going from my no guard half to a 1, I'm gonna go my 1 first, and then so I can clearly see where I need to blend out my half.
Okay.
Instead of taking your half up, who knows how far? What if you take it too far, right? You'll kind of see what once we take it down close too.
Gotcha.
Keep it closed. You can kind of start seeing that difference right there. Between where that 1.5 left off. My 1 open and my 1 closed. So to me, I see a line right here and a line right there, right?
Yeah.
So right now we're going to try and get this bottom line out.
Yeah.
Go up to my half. Always start with it open, right? Not doing anything. I'm gonna go halfway. Not doing anything. Go closed. And I can actually hear it cutting here. And each stroke, you can kind of see it getting a little bit lighter. Back to halfway.
Mm-hmm.
Drop it down again. Still wasn't cutting short enough, so that's why I took my guard off. Back to my half guard here. Keep it open, and now we're going to go a little higher with it. So now the area I'm focusing on is up here. Back to my one. Now I know I've done one open and one closed, but I haven't done one halfway yet. So to me, I'm just going to skip those two steps because I know we've already done them. So I'm just going to go halfway. Back to closed. Now it's kind of taken off what I needed to. Now I still have all that bulk right through here. That's going to be going with clipper over comb. So now I have my one side faded through there.
With that line right there, it's gonna be taken out with clipper over comb.
Clipper over comb, yep.
Okay.
So this is where my 1.5 left off, and this is all this hair that's grown in so far. Just sneak behind you here. Grab my all-purpose here. Now, I can know this length of the comb is about a 1. Now, if I have my comb or my clippers open with my 1, it's almost a 2 length, right? So I can be comfortable enough with setting this comb on his head flat and not worry about taking off too much. Now, if I wanted to go a little tighter, I need to be a little bit more careful. Now I'm only holding it on this edge right through here and not a little bit higher where it was. To a different comb here, a little bit tighter teeth on it, and I'm going to start working how we do the bench tape on it. Here at the very end, the comb is still flat on his head, but I'm only hitting the very ends of the hair.
I don't know how you keep
Good.
it so steady. Oh my gosh.
So you're trying to just kind of like blend a little bit by just hitting
Yep,
the tips
just
and stuff.
taking the very ends off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Obviously. Easy shit.
That's steady.
Yeah, I studied the books and previous. Like, issues.
You wrote that thing.
wish I could return my milk. Get money back. No sale. I feel so bad for you. I know when people watch me get my haircut, I hate it.
I asked him before.
The tough part is like at our school, there's mirrors everywhere, so you can like everybody's making eye contact with you basically everywhere.
It is weird to hear him talk about what he's doing to me.
Yeah.
All his extra lines he's got going on.
Now we're gonna do same thing we're gonna do what we
Yep.
do with Ben, just outline it. See those long hairs.
What are you doing
So
exactly?
so we're gonna take this. We're just gonna get rid of some of these long
Oh,
hairs.
okay, I gotcha.
Right, so I'm gonna calm all these down. Just outline it. Now if I look through the side through here, I don't see anything popping out, anything kind of mushrooming out, right? You see what I'm seeing?
Yes.
How it just kind of goes right down in.
That looks great.
And to me, this is how I do my faces shot too. I'll do one side, then I'll do the other, and then I'll do the back. To me, I like focusing on one area. Instead of doing my three eye, I just keep having him turning and turning and turning the whole time. I just stick him in one area first, so I can focus on that area better, and then repeat the same steps on the other side, and same thing in the back.
Okay.
Even when I'm doing clipper over comb stuff, I'll do this side first, and then I can match it easier when I go into the back and onto this side.
Gotcha.
Same steps, right? 5/0, 1.5, clipper open.
I think one of the wall gates fit on the back of this stuff.
Yeah, same blade.
It'll be good for me to steal my mom's stuff.
Clipper closed.
You just taking that line out?
I blended my 5/0 right into that 3/0 that I'm making right now.
Okay.
Halfway. Anyway, you see how I didn't get that weird? I mean, there's a little bit, not quite as much as that faint line between the 3 on the 5/0.
Yeah.
Sometimes that'll happen. Like sometimes maybe this head just this side blends in a little bit better than that side.
Okay.
by 1 and my 5 are blended in together. Take my 1 guard. 1 open.
Throughout that first one took up, so 1.5 is the ultimate close.
1.5 was closed. Because I was trying to get as close as I could to a 1.5 detachable. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And then you see how his hair grows like this? If I come in like this, it'll cut a little bit easier than trying to cut it like this. We get a bit more consistent cuts, right? So from here, I'm just following the way his hair grows. Back to closed. Switch over to my half here. One halfway. Now with Josh's haircut, we usually take this a little bit tighter, so if he didn't have a hard part, we probably wouldn't take it up as high. But we're trying to define that hard part a little bit more. We want people to see it. We're going to take this in a little bit tighter than we usually would. Than we would, like, if he was just getting a regular ball fade, you know. So this is where now I have like 2 fingers here on his forehead, kind of resting, because to me, I'm uneasy when I'm like this.
Yeah.
If I touch my clippers in, right, it's gonna go in. I'm gonna take off too much hair. I don't want that, especially in this parietal area, because it can kind of make or break it, right? Especially for a fade. So I'm gonna have my fingers resting on his head. Touch my clipper on the end here, just so I can kind of get it stabilized, and then cut. Now with this hard part too, I'm going to try and get these long ones out of the way, and then I'm going to come down on his hard part right here. I still have my fingers on his forehead resting. And now it's just kind of defining that hard part area a little bit more. If I'm still having problems with it, which it usually kind of does in his case, so we'll have to lower them down just a little bit. And I'll kind of look at him straight on, kind of see where it's supposed to be. You can kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
See that, Jake? This hard part is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comb all these hairs up that are too long still. Take my scissors and then run along this area, right on this hard part. Now I'm cutting just that little bit that we did. See, it got rid of those long ones.
Mm-hmm.
So getting these hairs out of the way. Resting my cutting blade right on through there.
You're just moving the comb to get the other hairs out of the way, and then.
Because I don't want to cut those yet.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then I can do the same thing here. Getting these long ones out of the way. The more I tilt my shears, right? First time we were a bit forward. Second time I'm angling it just a little bit more. So I can get those longer hairs that are still giving me a little problems. Worst case scenario, you just gotta freaking with this kind of haircut too, right? We're really kind of focusing on like those clean edges too. So if it's a little blunt right here, it's gonna be okay. Plus, it's long enough too, where you can still comb it, where it's not gonna make the biggest difference in the world. Like I think I do this almost every time I cut his hair, and I don't even notice. Right? You're learning the secrets now, Josh.
Alright, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on.
Now that it's a little bit shorter, I can kind of go in here. See these long ones that are through here. Start taking them down just a little bit. Those hairs are a bit shorter. You kind of see a bit more what I'm doing. Gonna get it wet again. Come in with my razor. Way more clearly see what I'm doing.
So you personally always get it wet when you do like the hard part with
Yeah,
the
you
razor?
never want to do it dry.
Gotcha.
On the face, you can get away with doing it dry, only on that lineup though.
Mm-hmm.
Really, anywhere else, you really want to try and refrain from it. You could use shave gel too. To me, I don't like the way it gets in the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas water is just enough lubricant that you can just kind of wipe the blade on it. As long as your blade's sharp enough, the hair will come off, you know. I'm never trying to rush this part just because it is we're shaving something into the head. No, one, because of the razor, obviously. Two, if you do take off too much, then you can kind of tell that the line's not going to be straight. It's going to be all crooked, right? That's why I'll always look at them in the front here. See, to me, it kind of tapers out right into here, so I need to make this just a little bit more even with the rest of it, but better. Now we just got 2 more spots to do. Back of his head, stop.
Take a seat.
I'm not used to standing this much at school. That's gonna lie.
Right. So, exact same steps I was doing on both sides here.
Mm-hmm.
1.5, 5/0, 1 open. 1 no guard, 1 open. A lot of times too, you see how I'm moving him while I'm cutting hair?
Mm-hmm.
Just another technique that'll kind of make it a little bit easier for you. Especially with this back area. I don't do it quite as much on the sides just because it's a bit more flat. This back area, because it's all very round, very bioccipital in here. Moving it like that is going to help it a little bit. Make it a little bit easier for you. Alright, Jake, what's next?
Hey, not sure.
What do we do after we blended in our 1 into our 5/0?
How do you take it? Take out that line, is it, or?
Yep. With what though? 1 guard open, right?
Okay.
Yep.
The 1 guard open.
1 guard open.
Okay.
Whenever I use guards, I always start with it open because it's going to be longer.
Okay.
If I go in right away with my 1 closed, and if I go too high, then I need to raise all of it up. So I'm just going to do the safe bet and start with it open. Because I know that in the beginning we did a 1.5 closed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Trying to get as close as we can to the detachable 1.5. Now if we go 1 plus this 1 open, it's almost going to be a 2. So it's really not going to take too much hair off.
Okay.
But it's you can still kind of hear it taking hair off.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I didn't ever remember to say.
1 closed, right? Because we
1
already did the 1
closed?
open, right?
Okay.
Now we're going
So-
right here.
So why again do we go from like open to close like that? Like to take out
go
that line or something? or-
Open, yep. So I know that where I'm going in was my 1.5,
Okay.
right? And so my next step down from my 1.5 close is going to be my 1 guard, right? It's going to be, I could start with it open just because it's going to be a little bit longer first.
Okay.
But then my next step, if I go in directly in steps, my next step down will be a 1. Or like a 1 guard, excuse me.
Okay.
And the next step down from that is going to be my half guard, right? Or if you're not using guards, right, you could use the OA blade of the detachables, right? That's a half guard. That's a half right there.
Okay.
Start with it open. I'm not really taking off a whole lot. I don't really hear it coming off either.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go halfway. Now I can start hearing those clips going, right? You guys can see that? I'll go a little bit tighter, not all the way closed because I don't want to go too far with it. I'm just gonna go one step down.
Okay.
Like that. So now I have my 1.5 all the way up here and my 5/0 down here and everything in between blended in through here. Now I just need a clipper over comb the backside here.
Okay. Yeah, when it's put that way, like, that makes sense. That,
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. When you put it, just set it that way, that.
So yeah, if we're starting off on the sides, this is not cut, clipper
Mhm.
over comb, 1.5, a 1 guard, closed, a half, 1 no guard,
Mhm.
1 no guard, half, 3/0, 5/0.
Okay. So you just kind of keep going closer as you go down,
Yep.
or well,
Or as you
or-
go up.
Yeah,
either one.
yeah,
yeah.
Gotcha.
You always fade up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really fade down too much. I like getting my bulk. I like doing my longest length first, and then my shortest length, and then I'll do the in between from there.
That makes sense to me, but I know some people do down. They're just
Like I said,
I don't
there's
it baffles me.
some
It
people
kinda
can do
seems-
this haircut in a completely different way than I do, and they'll still get the same result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this makes sense to me, but
Yeah, that makes more because it seems like if you fade down, it seems like I don't know. It seems like there's a bigger risk of error. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
just me.
if you're a bit inconsistent with where you're putting your cut
Yeah.
marks, yeah, you
Mhm.
can definitely. That's how you start chasing up lines.
Yeah, I feel like if you fade up, that's more like forgiving in a way or something.
Definitely, I think so. Still got my fingers on his head, resting for stability.
Mhm.
While I'm doing my flip over comb here. Now you see me kind of going into the crown a little bit.
Yeah.
Typically on a longer haircut, we won't do that because we take his top so short. If we left that crown longer, it would look funny. So we're just gonna blend all that in. Plus, he likes it pretty short. His hair really thick.
That sucks. It's good, and it sucks.
So you're just kind of blending right now, really?
Yeah, just taking a little bit of hairs off. Trying to make it to where if I look at a profile from him, it just rounds right in instead
Okay.
of see how it kind of drops off right there and then rounds in.
Yeah.
So I want all of that to look like it's
Like
just
it's
going right
a smooth
into that.
transition into
Exactly.
that. Okay.
yeah, I'm intrigued to see how you do the top.
Okay.
That's what I've been thinking about. Like,
Typically, so like I have really chubby fingers, so a clipper over comb for or a finger over comb for me, and his hair is so thick that it just kind of eats up my scissors real fast. So I will clip over comb his hair.
I've never done flip over for the top.
Yeah.
Is that really just
wild.
I know.
What's up?
that's just kind of like preference or something on your part?
For his
or-
hair.
Yeah.
His hair in
To be
particular.
fair, I asked for the scissors first time.
He did. Yeah. He did. Yeah. And then we kept going tighter and tighter. So right now I'm just kind of getting it to where this hair will blend in the back. I'm not so worried about all this length yet. Still just kind of focused on this crown area back here.
Okay.
I think lately I've been getting guys with really thick hair, and it just curls down back in my fingers. So that's why I was like, it's be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Rory's been swinging on me lately.
So I'm kind of just angling my comb like that.
Mhm.
Can you guys see that too? I was angling it. Okay. So I'm going up to where the longest hairs on his head are, and making that the end of my comb, waiting until those come out, and all that I want to cut because I want to make it smooth to where he goes from shorter into what he has before we cut this top. satisfied with that, so now we'll kind of work on the top there. We'll start with it open, kind of how I do on all these haircuts. One, because it's a bit more forgiving. And two, I think it leaves a better finish than where if I were to do it closed. So I start right in my corner here. I'm going to work my way that way. And then I'm going to come up through here, finish the same way, turn them around, and then bring this in through here.
Oh, to do like just to do the top and like
Yep,
that.
we're going to do the top, yep.
Gotcha.
Right here. I'm going to start working my way down. My hand for stability.
You know, like guidelines, I think it's all basically pretty anyway.
Well, it's kind of what you do too when you do your scissors too, right? You're just making your own guideline.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when I do it with shears, I see the other hair, I guess.
Well, to me, I can see these hairs that I've cut. Now, if I come in with my comb, these are hairs that I've cut,
okay. Yeah,
and these
yeah,
aren't.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, I guess I see.
Yep. So your first one, you're just making your guideline.
It's so much easier.
Now, I try and use with scissors. I'm gonna finish it up with scissors too,
Yeah.
but just to get most of the hair out of the way,
Yeah.
just because this hair is so thick, and I do have chubby fingers, so it does kind of make it harder. You might find if you come in this situation too, where you can do scissors, give it a shot, do it if you like it. Even if I do scissors too, like because I do have chunky fingers, like if I'm doing that and I'll go here, I'll have those lines that you come across too, and I'll just come with my clippers and take it out. So essentially, I'm just cross-checking with my clippers. Spin them around. So we still have all of these that are still longer. Still, all of this has been cut. Now it's just this area right through here. Now I can either come in through here, start seeing those short ones,
Mm-hmm.
start taking them off. I would say the main thing about clipper overcombing top of the hair is stability. You just gotta my fingers are always resting on him no matter what. No matter what I'm doing, right? I have my ring finger right on his forehead, stabilizing my comb. Pull my clipper on here first before I swipe, just to kind of get used to that weight on there, and then I'll swipe. When you are placing your finger on them, like I've accidentally poked people in the eye before, so like just something you gotta watch out for.
Oof. Yeah.
Or like will be like on their like just a weird spot on your face. And I'm like, oh, it's weird. So just trying to move my finger. For the front here, I like to comb it down. It's like you got a few long ones over here too. Comb it down in the front here. Pull out just a little bit on it. And go straight across. And move it down a little bit. If I need to, switch sides here. Kind of run my comb through, see if I see any long ones. It doesn't really matter which comb I use at this point. I like using the smaller one just because it's a bit more detailed in it. And his hair grows this way, so I'm going to come in like this. Just start grabbing the top of the hairs. Just kind of like how we were doing the sides, just the very tips, right?
Yeah.
Same exact concept.
Sorry, what is the point of this? So,
Just to smooth it out.
just
Right.
in case there's any lines.
Just in case like there's a more harder line that the clipper left in,
Okay.
right? So we left it open to try and leave a smoother finish, but you can still get pretty harder finish with it. And with the scissors like this, will smooth all of those cuts out.
Okay.
Especially with some people that really kind of hesitant about getting their hair cut on the top, especially with clippers. This will kind of smooth everything out, just so they can see the quality.
I was like, how do I ask this stuff? I'm gonna ask.
What is the point of all
Yeah,
this?
I
Why do
don't
people
know,
need haircuts?
I should be teaching this.
But
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, this is just something I like to do on it because I do think it smooths it out a little bit.
No,
So-
I can see it now.
Well, I mean, but even then, some people might not be like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
a bunch of shit," right?
Yeah.
That's just how I like to do it. If need be, I can kind of check finger length here, make sure we're all the same. And then I like to, if we're actually taking to the skin, I like to do that part last. Just because, to me, that's one of the harder parts about just doing any bald fade, is like the actual bald line. So if I know that I can fade my 5/0 into whatever I can hand through here, and I can take my bald line, my actual trim or foil shaver, kind of right up to about before there, and then just come down with it, and it'll blend right in. I'm just going to make sure all of the little ones are actually gone. Especially around the ears. I find that I miss most of my shorter hairs just around this part of the ear. Then I just kind of like to start in one corner in the back. Use both my blades. Start coming up with it. He's got really thick hair, so I'm not going in at it like you saw some people do. To me, I feel like that'd be uncomfortable. So I'm just gonna let my clipper or my foil do the work. Just take it up slowly. That way too, you get all the hairs. With his hair, it's really easy to tell which has been cut and which not because his hair is so dark and his skin is so white underneath there.
how far are you going up with the foil shaver?
Probably gonna take it about right up to there,
Okay,
and then we're just gonna come down with it.
gotcha.
Kind of like how we did our, just kind of deciding where we're gonna put our one in, no guards. I'm just gonna leave enough room to where I know I can blend this out. Because if I just leave a hard line in there, you're gonna be able to tell exactly where it leaves off. Even though like the 5/0 is the closest you can go without going to skin, you can kind of already see the difference right here, right?
Oh,
If I
yeah.
just leave that there, it's gonna be a huge, just bald line. this length too. I like to stretch the skin just a little bit. Because if you stretch it too much, you're gonna distort where that's going. So if you stretch it just a little bit like that, you can kind of get a little bit closer, right? If I stretch it way out like that, it's gonna be a bit different.
Gotcha.
And that's one side right there. See how we just kind of went down with it just a little bit, and it blended it right in, no problem.
Is this fish in the bathroom or no?
Yeah. The dog will bark at you, but she won't bite you.
Okay, good, good.
Yep.
We're at.
Up the stairs, through the entryway to the left.
Policeman biting.
Now you seem kind of biteable.
Dude, there's a Chihuahua. And
Oh, it's a big dog.
Yeah, it's a
big dog.
it's a cattle
actually
dog.
up here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're quiet, she won't hear you.
But there's a Chihuahua though, and I hate fucking dog. It's my neighbor's dog. And I'm like, I hope you bite me one day. Give me a reason.
Give me a reason.
It's not a dog.
Yeah, she's got a loud dog.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a yes, Australian cattle dog. Blue healer. When I want to get a bit more detailed on how I'm curving this out, that's when I'll switch to my 1 instead of my 2.